Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Rolando Milian, and together with my colleague Sofia Fertusinos at the Cushing Whitney Medical Library, and also Molinap, Kay Machewski, and Rana Morris at National Library of Medicine, we welcome you to this series of talks dedicated to explore the evolution of bioinformatics services in libraries. So the idea of organize this series originated from the Cushing Whitney Medical Library Bioinformatics Support Hub, celebrating its 10th anniversary this year, which led us to examine the collective past and present and future of the bioinformatics services library. And just to share a little bit of our story, the Bioinformatics Support Hub at the Cushing Whitney Medical Library was launched in 2014, focusing on the retrieval of molecular information from knowledge bases. Between 2015 and 2017, the service increased in collection development, specifically through the licensing of software for data processing and analytical support. Then the years of 2018 and 2021 marked a period of scaling characterized by introduction of a peer-to-peer teaching program, the establishment of the symbolic fellowship, and the creation of a new permanent position dedicated to tools using command line. And for the last 2 years, our effort has been directed toward establishing and extending collaborations with various institutional departments and core facilities for solidifying the services' integral role within the academic and research community. And it was based on this reflection process that we decided to reach out to our colleagues at the National Library of Medicine to organize a series of 7 sessions dedicated to reflect and inspire us to create, develop, and tailor bioinformatics services within our library context. Today, presenters will talk about enhancing bioinformatics services in minority institutions, and our speakers are Melisa Balos from Morehouse School of Medicine, Angela Lee from Pacific University, Oregon, and Dr. Aditi Bandyopadhyay from Adelphi University. So our first speaker, Melisa Balos, degrees are International Relationship and Political Science with a specialty in energy and environmental security. And she's also halfway through completing her MLEs with a focus on academic librarianship. She acts as a liaison for the bioinformatics program support at Morehouse School of Medicine, overall mission of health and equity. And I'm going to stop share. And Melisa, whenever you're ready, please can start.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. As Rolando said, my name is Melisa Balos, and I am here representing Morehouse School of Medicine. At Morehouse School of Medicine, bioinformatics is crucial. It's a powerful tool in our mission to transform health outcomes for underserved communities. Through data-driven approaches, we can actively address the health inequities faced by populations that have been historically underrepresented in medical research. At MSM, our vision is to lead the creation and advancement of health equity in pursuit of health justice. Our mission is rooted in improving the health and well-being of individuals and communities, increasing the diversity of health professionals, and addressing primary health care with an emphasis on people of color and those systematically excluded, whether in urban or rural populations in Georgia, across the U.S., or globally. This mission drives everything we do, and bioinformatics is a powerful tool that can help us achieve these goals. The library is pivotal in supporting MSM's mission of advancing health equity. By providing access to bioinformatics tools and databases, the library ensures that researchers can conduct studies addressing the specific healthcare challenges marginalized populations face. The library's resources enable these researchers to design equitable, data-driven healthcare solutions that directly benefit communities that have been historically overlooked in healthcare policy and research. Our library at MSM isn't just a knowledge repository. It's an active hub for innovation and collaboration. Bioinformatics thrives on access to large data sets, specialized software, and cutting-edge research, all of which our library provides. The library is a logical provider of bioinformatics resources and services because we exist to meet the multidisciplinary information needs of all members of our institution's research community. The MSM library is uniquely positioned to facilitate interdisciplinary collaboration and to help connect people and ideas, fostering innovations that can make real differences in healthcare outcomes. With innovation comes responsibility. Bioinformatics brings ethical challenges, especially around privacy, data equity, and the risk of biased research. The library is essential in guiding researchers through these complex ethical landscapes by providing access to ethical guidelines, case studies, and tools for conducting responsible research. As we delve deeper into bioinformatics, particularly in a mission-driven institution like MSM, it's essential to address the challenges posed by digitalization. The increasing reliance on vast amounts of personal health data brings privacy risk, especially for vulnerable and marginalized communities. In bioinformatics, data breaches or misuse can have serious consequences, potentially reinforcing existing health disparities. It's not just about protecting individual privacy, it's about ensuring that data is handled responsibly, ethically, and in line with our broader mission of advancing health equity. Libraries in our focus on information management play a critical role in safeguarding data, promoting ethical research practices, and helping researchers navigate these complex issues. By grounding bioinformatics work in ethical principles, we can ensure that the advancements we make serve the best interest of all people, particularly those who have been historically marginalized. Students at minority-serving institutions may not have had sufficient exposure to essential academic resources in the biomedical and life sciences field. While PubMed and Medline provide access to valuable literature and peer-reviewed articles, many students might not yet be familiar with these platforms or how to navigate them effectively. Similarly, the NCBI database offer important bioinformatics tools that can significantly enhance research. Still, students may not have yet had the opportunity to explore these resources fully in their academic journeys. By fostering greater exposure to these resources, we can enrich the educational experiences of students at minority-serving institutions and better support their academic and professional development. I want to share some exciting future initiatives we're planning at the library to enhance bioinformatics support for our students and improve their learning experiences, building on the work we already do as librarians. First, we aim to expand our outreach efforts to connect more deeply with students and faculty. By actively engaging with the community, we can ensure that everyone knows the available resources and services, helping us tailor our support to meet their needs. Next, we plan to offer a series of workshops focused on bioinformatics. These sessions will cover topics like research techniques, data usage and management, and effective use of library and NCBI databases. We are also developing library guides that will serve as valuable resources for navigating our collections and finding relevant materials, including instruction guides on bioinformatics. Finally, we intend to integrate our bioinformatics resources into Canvas. This will allow us to embed library guides, workshop schedules, and other helpful tools directly into our course materials, providing students with easy access to library resources alongside their coursework. These initiatives reflect our ongoing commitment to enhancing student success and fostering a supportive learning environment for bioinformatics research. The Biomedical Informatics Unit, BIU, at Morehouse School of Medicine is integral to the institution's research capabilities, particularly within the RCMI Center of Excellence for Clinical and Translational Research and the G12 programs. By integrating various health information systems, including electronic medical records and research databases, the BIU creates an interpretable repository that aids in bioinformatics analysis. This includes identifying genetic biomarkers for diagnostics, analyzing gene expression data, and supporting various profiling technologies such as RNA and miRNA, driving the application of data toward meaningful health advancements. Bioinformatics is critical in advancing Morehouse School of Medicine's mission to improve health equity and address disparities in underrepresented communities. The library is essential to this mission, serving as a hub for information access, ethical guidance, and collaboration. By curating vital research resources, promoting responsible data usage, and facilitating interdisciplinary partnerships, the library supports the development of innovative, data-driven health solutions. We are helping shape the future of personalized medicine and public health through the Biomedical Informatics Unit and these key resources at our library. Our commitment ensures that MSM's research prioritizes the needs of marginalized populations, driving us closer to health justice for all. Thank you for your time. I'm happy for any questions you have at the end of this presentation or at the end of this panel.
Yeah, thank you so much, Melisa, for the presentation. And we're going to have the questions at the end. So for the sake of time. And let me introduce our next speaker, which is Angela Lee, which is a health science librarian for the College of Health Professions at Pacific University in Oregon. She received her MLS and MSW degree at the University of Hawaii and has over 25 years of work experience as a health science librarian, providing educational, informational, research, and clinical information services and support. Her current research interests are health literacy, interprofessional education, critical appraisal, data management, and bioinformatics. Thank you so much, Angela, whenever you're ready.
Good morning or good afternoon to you all. My name is Angela Lee, and I'm the health sciences librarian at Pacific University, Oregon. And this is part of the series on bioinformatics in minority institutions. And I'm using my institution, Pacific University, Oregon, as a case study. So let me start by kind of introducing to you what I'm going to be covering in this topic. First of all, I'll talk about the status of the state of bioinformatics or genomic literacy in higher education. Secondly, I'll talk about my institution as a minority serving institution and my work with the College of Health Professions and their allied health programs. Third, I'm going to talk about how allied health programs are opportunities for bioinformatics outreach. And finally, I'll talk about other promotion opportunities for bioinformatics growth. So starting off with just history behind bioinformatics and genomics literacy. As you know, genomics has been primarily taught in the advanced health and life sciences fields, targeting primarily clinical research or medical specialties. But as we know, in the past 20 years, due to genomic sequencing, direct-to-consumer genetic testing, and precision medicine, there's been a call for educating all the students and clinicians and also the public about genomics. What we've learned is that many healthcare professionals don't feel prepared to answer patient questions regarding genomics or their genetic profile, especially in terms of health, disease, and medical practice. So as a medical librarian, health sciences librarian, I've been watching this trend for quite a long time, and I took training early on and seriously continued to update myself with refresher courses so that I even went to the original NCBI boot camp back in NIH. The first attempt at me trying to go ahead and put together a bioinformatics session was at when I was working at the University of California Riverside System, and I developed and conducted a 6-week course on NCBI for biomedical students. It was received well. I got a lot of positive feedback, and then the response was that they had they got a better understanding of genomic information, but they also felt overwhelmed because the information was so vast. I moved to Oregon more than 5 years ago, and I got a job as a health sciences librarian at Pacific University. To give you some backstory about Pacific, it really actually began as a school for orphans on the Oregon Trail in 1848 and was chartered as a college in 1849. So it has a long history. Currently, it's a small private research university with an enrollment of nearly 4,000 students. Half of those students are undergraduates in a traditional liberal arts college, and the other half are in graduate professional programs, especially in health sciences. The university recently got awarded $1.2 million federal grant to launch what we call the Inclusive Support Program for Underrepresented Students, and with the goals of closing the equity gaps, improving retention, providing academic support to underrepresented students, and promoting STEM. Recently, Pacific implemented their Pacific Pathways program, which gives students a direct pathway into the graduate program starting as an undergraduate in good standing. A little bit more about the College of Health Professions that I serve, and also actually the College of Optometry. There's several colleges that serve the health professions, but the primary one is the College of Health Professions. The health programs in Pacific started off with the School of Optometry in 1945, so we do go back quite a ways as a university with health programs. And they were the first ones to offer what we call an optometry or OD degree. The program was popular and lucrative, so they gained the university a lot of visible reputation. We started adding other allied health programs in the 1970s, and we formally organized all of those programs under one roof called the College of Health Professions, where we based it off of the Hillsborough campus in Oregon. The Hillsborough campus has a larger healthcare industry and a larger patient base. The College of Health Professions is actually made up of some 13 allied health programs. So there's quite a number of programs that I serve as a health sciences librarian. So here's a screenshot of our campus. It's two very large buildings that are catered primarily to the health professions. And here are the health professions that we cover. So everything from athletic training all the way to speech pathology. So one of the questions that was posed in this particular presentation was, what is the main bioinformatics challenge? So let me give you some context first of all. At Pacific U, I was the health sciences librarian for 13 allied health programs, and I taught evidence-based practice classes to a number of these programs, totaling to about 700 students. And because I had some prior knowledge of bioinformatics from my previous work experience, I was aware of the healthcare trend growing toward clinical or personalized genomics. And what we talked about earlier, there's more ease of genetic sequencing, there's direct-to-consumer genetic testing, and there's a real strong focus on precision medicine. So I felt that introducing bioinformatics in the form of NCBI to the health professions would be invaluable. So the question here is, what's the challenge here? Bioinformatics or genomic literacy is just not taught in allied health programs. And you might ask why. And the main issue is because the focus of education and training in those areas, as I mentioned, the 13 health professions programs, it's because they are focused on observable diseases or conditions. In other words, they assess, diagnose, and treat diseases and conditions at an organic or functional level. They don't tend to look at diseases and treatment at the cellular or molecular level, thus making the case for bioinformatics difficult. However, we are facing a clinical genomics issue, which we need to prepare our students in a way that would better prepare them to address genetic conditions, but also lifestyle conditions too. So how did I address the challenge? I looked at the programs in my College of Health Professions to see which ones I would target that would be more amenable to bioinformatics training, and which actually fitted the discipline much more. So I targeted the pharmaceutical sciences in the pharmacy school. And why did I do that? Primarily because the pharmaceutical sciences, and particularly in pharmacy school, they operate at a cellular molecular level. So it made more sense to them as to how does genomic literacy matter in terms of their actual discipline. The focus, of course, in pharmaceutical sciences is in understanding biological and chemical processes of disease and drugs. Also, the student profile had them already ready. They were either in pharmacy or already have a pharmacy degree. They had some they're doing some advanced graduate work and focusing on drug research and development. They have a very strong knowledge of biological, chemical, and pharmacological processes. And they definitely had a knowledge about drugs and how they interact with the human body. And everyone kind of understands, or they go by the acronym ADMET, which is, understanding how absorption, distribution, metabolism, excretion, and toxicity in terms of drugs affect our human body. So one of the benefits of bioinformatics is training is partly because we're trying to address a gap in their knowledge in terms of understanding the biomedical information system. While many students have some knowledge of genetic information, they don't actually have a full picture of how they get to that information, how they access it, where is it stored, and how best to retrieve it. And so what my focus is to acquaint students with the tools that make them become independent searchers, so that they have a better or more advanced understanding about where the genomic information, where the biomedical information exists. So what I did was to offer them a 3-part course series similar to what I had taught at the University of California, Riverside, except that I had a shorter time frame to work with. And in this 3-part course series, I introduced them to PubMed and also PubMed's connection to NCBI. As you know, they're very well integrated. And so it makes a lot of sense for them to see where the information is actually published, but is also where it starts in terms of the original genetic data. The second piece of that course was an introduction to NCBI databases, the typical databases, gene, protein, omen, or even taxonomy. And the third piece of that was an introduction to the Entree search system, and basically so that they understood how to go about doing searches in RefSeq, familiarizing them with BLAST and a whole bunch of other search strategies. Of course, this is a very short course series. A lot of it's much more introduction. There wasn't a lot of time to go ahead and get them to do practice assignments, although there were some exercises that were built into it. My next steps is really to work with them and closer to the instructor in developing practice assignments that actually applies or uses NCBI in their practice in some way. And then the other piece is to provide outreach to our upcoming genetics counseling program, which seems like a natural fit because they are studying genetics and genomics, and they need to have a good foundation for that. My suggestion here is that actually there is a number of promotion opportunities that you can make in relation to bioinformatics, particularly in the allied health programs. As you can see, it is you can target your instruction to specific programs that are actually needing to use the genetic information. The allied health programs make sense in terms of whether you're in pharmaceutical science or you're in genetic counseling and or maybe even in dietary studies as a dietitian then. So the message here is that, what's key in allied health programs is that if kind of effective implementation of any genomic medicine in the healthcare system relies on non-genetic health professionals remaining abreast of the current genomic information and then being able to apply that in their practice. The other thing is, as perhaps very few know, is that allied and auxiliary healthcare make up about 60% of the nation's 10.5 million healthcare workforce. And what that means is that 60% of those working in healthcare are actually in these other professions. It's why we are dominated by medicine, by physicians and nurses, and the bigger disciplines. The allied health professions are quite large and something that we can tap into. Secondly, we can try to go ahead and promote ourselves both in terms of the undergraduate life sciences and the data science programs then. So life sciences seems like a natural because they're heading toward or pursuing some healthcare career. The other one is data science programs where people might be interested in computational biology. Finally, there is the notion about outreach to the general public. While, this is perhaps the most difficult thing to do because it's trying to educate our public about just basic health concepts is very difficult. The goal is to try to implement some of the initiatives that are already in place. For example, NIH's All of Us Reach program. And then I'm tying it very closely to what I was been involved in more than 5 years ago, which is the health literacy campaigns, which is trying to address some of the needs of both clinicians and their patients in terms of understanding health literacy or understanding health information. This is a list of some of my references if you want to refer back to the background that I gathered on our school. And then thank you if there's any questions.
Thank you so much, Angela, for the presentation. Yeah, let's go to the next speaker, and the questions are going to be at the end. So our first speaker is Dr. Aditi Bandyopadhyay, and Aditi has a PhD in plant biology in addition to MLS degree and is full professor at science librarian at Adelphi University. She is responsible for teaching library instruction sessions to science undergraduate and graduate students and providing research support to all science faculty and students and developing information resources and services in science and technology. So Aditi, whenever you are ready.
Thank you for inviting me to present here today, and thank you for the nice introduction. I have been working as the science librarian at Adelphi for 30 years now. Before I talk about bioinformatics, I would like to share some background information about our university. It is a private university with more than 5,000 undergraduate students and a little bit over 2,000 graduate students enrolled in different disciplines. Our main campus is located in the Garden City, Long Island, New York. In addition, we have 3 other satellite campuses, one in Brooklyn, one in Hudson Valley, and one is in Hopper, that is also on Long Island. Okay, here is a list of degree offerings in sciences at Adelphi. We offer BA, BAs, and MS in biology, computer science, environmental science, and environmental studies. At present, we do not offer any master's degree in chemistry, physics, and mathematics. We do not have any doctoral programs in sciences, and no computational biology courses are taught at Adelphi at present. So here is the information about Adelphi as a minority serving institution. This information can be found in our webpage, and here is the link. And at present, we have a large number of Hispanic and Latino students. We are trying to help them succeed academically at Adelphi. And in 2019, Adelphi was designated as an emerging Hispanic serving institution by the U.S. Department of Education. So now I'm going to talk about the need for bioinformatics information at Adelphi University. Now, so our faculty and students largely search PubMed for biomedical literature. Some faculty members use PubMed Central for articles freely available there. Other than PubMed or PubMed Central, I never received any queries from our faculty and students about any other bioinformatics resources that are freely available on the NLM site. Okay. So I contacted 6 biology faculty via email to know how they use the bioinformatics tools from the NLM site. And these faculty teach genetics courses and labs. And I shared the NLM's A to Z list containing all the biomedical resources they offer. And 3 faculty responded back. So one of these faculty who works on cancer biology informed me that he does more weight bench research and does not really use the bioinformatics resources from the NLM side. Other two professors who teach undergraduate genetic courses and labs, they expressed their interest in using some of the bioinformatics resources from the NLM in their future courses. So what happened, and I forgot to mention, I have to go back. When one of those two faculty who were interested, I had a Zoom meeting with one of them, and we had a very productive discussion, and I showed him some of the resources that can be incorporated in our undergraduate courses. So with the list of the bioinformatics resources and tools on the NLM side is extensive, and our undergraduate students do not need everything listed there. Many of the bioinformatics resources are specialized tools that are important for researchers, graduate, and doctoral students who are engaged in original research to generate new information to be added to the existing bioinformatics knowledge base. Our biology undergraduates mostly synthesize information from the published literature, but they definitely can use selective resources to enrich their knowledge in genetics and molecular biology from the NLM side. So what I showed to that faculty, some resources that I selected from NLMS A to Z list. And these resources are Bookshelf, Gene Reviews, Genes and Diseases, MedGen, and also MESH, OMIM. Of course, I know there would be PubMed and PubMed Central because they are already using it. But one resource that is not listed in that A to Z list, I also talked about that. That is Medline Plus. Okay. So why did I discuss Medline Plus with him, which is mainly for designed for mainly lay persons? But I used to teach like information literacy sessions for a course that is for lower level biology undergraduate students, and they were working on mitochondrial diseases. And Medline Plus has a section for genetics, and under this section, there are informations about chromosomes and mitochondrial DNA, genes, genetic conditions. So when I was searching PubMed and used Lee syndrome as an example of mitochondrial diseases, I mean, if they could use the information from the mtDNA section of genetics in Medline Plus, they would learn a lot about the genetic disorders and how it happens. Also, this site has information about gene mutations, and I think it would be a wonderful tool for our lower level undergraduate courses. And for that reason, I discussed this source with that faculty. Now I'm going to talk about another program that can use some of the bioinformatics tools from the on the NLM side. And this program is called SysTep program, and it stands for New York State Collegiate Science and Technology Entry Program, and it is one of our science advancement programs at Adelphi. Now, in this program, we enroll undergraduate and graduate students from underrepresented group, and they come to Adelphi to study the different disciplines in STEM field. Okay, and there are 3 criteria for eligibility. The student must be enrolled in Adelphi University. They must belong to economically disadvantaged group. or they must be Black, African American, or Latino, Alaskan Native, or American Indian. And then once they have the, these criteria fulfilled, they can get enrolled in our system program. Now, there is a course in the system program called First Year Seminar Nitric Trial, Water Quality on Long Island. And it is offered in the summer as a part of the system program. And I get invitation to provide a library instruction session as a guest lecturer. So what I do, we talk about information resources in this class on water pollution, pollutants, and public health. And I have prepared a LibGuide for this class. So students use this LibGuide to obtain information about nitrogen pollution in aquatic environments, algal blooms, and their impacts on living organisms, including humans. Now, if I search on PubMed on algal blooms, it brings up a number of records, and some of the records have links to resources like MedGen, PubChem, Bookshelf, and also it has links to Medline Plus and CDC. Not these two are bioinformatics tools on the NLM side, but they have information that can benefit our students about the health conditions because of nitrogen pollution. Now, one nice thing about NLM resources, because the students can use MedGen records and they can seamlessly access to other bioinformatics resources such as genes, OMIM, gene reviews. Now, I'm going to talk about why, I could not do much more to publicize the bioinformatics resources to our students and mainly to our students. Now, I always get invitation to provide one-shot library instruction, okay? These kind of library sessions have both opportunities and challenges. Now, first I will talk about the opportunities. I can reach a large number of students at the same time and can share information simultaneously and uniformly. Okay, and this kind of station helps me to be visible in front of our students, as the subject librarian. Okay, and then these sessions also help me to build up my relationship with the faculty and also build up a network with the departments I am liaison with. But there are a lot of challenges. Okay, so first challenge is the time constraint. When we teach this kind of one-shot library instruction session, we have very short period of time that lies anywhere between 50 to 75 minutes. Okay, and then when you discuss with faculty what they want you to discuss in that class, the list is limitless, okay? And within the short period of time, it gets very difficult to meet faculty's expectations. And we generally provide an overview of all the resources, show them some sample searches, but we do not have any scope to address individual students' information needs. Although we are the instructor who provides the information about library resources, but the contents generally are determined by the classroom instructor. For that reason, there is a phrase called instructor-directed instruction for these one-shot library instruction classes. Now, although I want our students to learn more about, other tools, but I don't get much, opportunity to do anything outside what our faculty, want me to do. So how can I enhance the bioinformatics services at Adelphi? So, there should be willingness of the science faculty, especially the biology faculty at Adelphi, to change their traditional nature of the assignments to incorporate bioinformatics resources to enrich students' learning experience in genetics and molecular biology. And they should raise the students' awareness of these tools, these free valuable bioinformatics resources on the NLM website, and our students should know about it. And we also need successful collaborations between classroom faculty and subject librarians to promote bioinformatics information to our graduate and undergraduate students who take genetics and molecular biology courses at Adelphi. That's it that I have for you today. Thank you for the opportunity to present here.
Thank you so much, Aditi. Thank you so much for the other presenters. That was a great overview, all of you, of those institutions and how to develop and serve these minority populations. And do we have any questions in the chat?
We do. Melisa is asking, do you have any advice or suggestions for pedagogy resources for further developing bioinformatics within your program that can be adapted for MSMs? We are such a new program that resources are an uphill battle. So what do you say? You want to start with Angela?
Okay, could you repeat that question again?
Sure. Yeah, Melissa is asking if you would mind sharing any advice or suggestions for further developing bioinformatics, specifically any programs that that can be adapted for minority serving institutions. So she's looking for advice for her institution. So words of wisdom.
Okay. I think what's most important is that you need to find out what programs are there, particularly in my setting, because I have allied health programs. Many of them have an interest in trying to advance their knowledge base. And so what you're trying to do is target those programs that seem to want to move ahead in terms of perhaps genomic knowledge or, bioinformatics, and then try to build on that. So for example, I gave the pharmaceutical sciences as an example. What I did was that instead of actually waiting for them to come, I just actually targeted those programs that I thought would have a high interest in certain types of information. And because most of our programs are clinical, you have to make the pitch for the fact that you can, genomics or bioinformatics is important because really, actually, there's a huge move toward personalized medicine or precision medicine. And they're trying to understand that. Now, many of the students may not find that necessarily directly related to their actual training, but you can always talk about it in terms of the kinds of focuses that they need for their program. Like, maybe they'll have to train their students to deal with patients who have certain conditions, how best to treat them, or their lifestyle issues. So what I'm saying is that you target your program or you target your training for the programs that seem to be most amenable to that kind of instruction. And so I think you need to have an evaluation of what might be of interest also of core competencies that are in their accreditation policies, because many of these programs now have incorporated or folded in core competencies, and genomics or bioinformatics is one of them, even though it doesn't show up in the actual curriculum of the profession. So that was a kind of quick answer. So hope that helps.
Thanks, Angela. Aditi, would you like to add?
Yeah. Okay. Anything for me?
Do you have any other specific advice for someone who wants to expand their program?
Yeah, I am struggling myself to make, these resources popular among our faculty. So I really do not know until I get, some results of my attempts, because the faculty I spoke to over on Zoom, he is comparatively new. So he is willing to try these resources, and he told me that he may teach 2 genetics courses in coming spring. So I am going to find out whether he would be willing to incorporate some of the resources in our conversation. He said that, these resources could be used for group projects. And I said, yeah, that would be good. I could help you to design the assignments. So I have to see who buys my ideas first. And then if I have some results, then I can share with the people, either by presentation or publications. But right now, I am also asking the same question to myself, how I'm going to influence this faculty to use these bioinformatics resources. And I am going to tell you something. My daughter is a first-year medical student, right? She is studying at the University in Ohio. And I always talk to her about what she learns, each day. So one day when, last month or the month before, when they were studying all these genetic mutations and all these things, and I was talking to her because, she is basically a biomedical engineer and just graduated from Georgia Tech. And I'm, on the other hand, my degrees are in biology. So I know a lot of stuff that she is studying as a foundational biology courses. So I said, okay, are you learning this, that? So when we talked about, rare genetics diseases, and then one time we talked about cystic fibrosis, I asked her, do you use these bioinformatics resources from the NLM? And she said, no, it's all, lecture based, information that we are getting. So I was thinking, if doctors, at their initial stage, they learn these things, we have here a biology major who are planning to go to medical schools later. If we can teach them, they will have some knowledge when they will study cystic fibrosis or other genetic diseases. They will know these tools, and they can thrive better. But I have to talk to my faculty more to help them understand the values of these resources. How our students can use them and get ahead of the game. I have just started talking about these tools, and I will see how far I can go.
Yeah. So I feel like I'm talking a little out of turn since it's been a while since I worked in an academic institution. But when I did, I feel like what really, really worked was to get away from the if you build it, they will come mentality. It's more, you need to get out and learn the curriculum and figure out where the needs are, and then approach the faculty and just sit down with them and figure out, within the curriculum, how can you get people excited about, doing information research? How can you get students excited about going and exploring what's out there? And you'll find faculty that will really want to talk to you and are excited about working with you. And you sort of dig in with those people. And then once you have that foundation and those relationships with certain faculty, all of a sudden other faculty are appearing left and right because they talk to each other.
Let's see, well, I can share also some ideas for, the strategies that we use here to cope with the lack of resources and lack of knowledge ourselves, because we cannot cover all the bases. We cannot know everything that is out there, is to invite members from the community to organize presentations and invite members of the community to share their knowledge with the community in something that we call peer-to-peer teaching sessions. So anybody who has some little expertise on some tool, we work with them and is willing to share that knowledge. And so you have some students that like some advantage as students that want to share that and they want to teach. And they use that as also an opportunity to develop their professional communication skills. And so we organize those sessions. So we conceive the library as a glue unit, as a kind of a node that connects users on campus. So we don't have to be the ones who offer the expertise. We can identify those with the expertise and connect them with the rest of the community. So as a library is seen as a place where you can come and learn, not only because we have the knowledge, it's because we bring those together. So we connect the user with the other users, and we connect also the user with the resources. So we try to see that. If you see that, and then you say, okay, I don't have to have that resource, I have to have that knowledge. I have to find who is willing to share that, and I have to connect. I might invite presenters. I can create a series of lectures. So you see, you can start talking around and try to bring people around these topics of bioinformatics. That's something that we've been doing, and it's very, very popular and well received here.
Can I make can I give you another response? Because I didn't seem like I sounded very succinct in my original answer. I'll say there's like several kind of options for you. One is starting to look at the curriculum and the requirements for each and every one of the programs. Now, of course, we're very practical because we have these allied health programs that are geared toward training clinicians. That's what it is. And so you can look at the accreditation and their trend toward new technologies and medicine in terms of how they incorporate it into their programs. So as I said, a number of programs already have genetic or genomic competencies built in. Second way that I approach it is that I try to go ahead and target specific programs I know that much me be finely attuned to bioinformatics and genomics. And that is, as I said, pharmaceutical science was a natural fit, pharmacy students. The second one was genetic counseling, obviously, because, they're dealing with genetic counseling. You can even target, as I said, we don't kind of nutrition programs that have to deal with the very fine literature about genes and lifestyle and, nutrition and dietitians. So look for those programs specifically that may have an interest or show some interest or show some connection to bioinformatics or genomics literacy. The third piece I would say is that try to approach things from an interprofessional approach. Our school does has a huge emphasis on interprofessional education. And so you can try to approach the learning or teaching about genomics or bioinformatics from that point of view, in which that, many of the healthcare issues are linked to one another. Many of the different disciplines will be applied in other disciplines, and then team teaching about just some basic foundational knowledge about genetics and genomics, just because the consumer base out there is there. There's lots of people doing genetic testing. They're trying to understand it. And those questions are going to come from your patients no matter what. And so are you ready to go ahead and address them? And then finally, I would say the public approach, which is that tie yourself in with NIH's All of Us programs, and or trying to, tie it in with health literacy, which I was very much a part of, and that, kind of educating your consumers and your patients about health literacy, you can bring in the bioinformatics concept. So kind of different methods by which you can reach out and being proactive in your teaching and not just, as you say, waiting for them to come. You just have to try to be much more, you have to put your name out there and also put the issues out there for them to see, the connections. So.
Thanks, Angela.
Any other question there? Okay.
Nice comments, but no questions in the chat. So if you have, well, we have about 3 minutes left. So maybe the last minute to get your question in.
Well, if no one has a question, then, Rolando and I are very curious people on what doesn't work. And sometimes that's, or not sometimes, most of the times, that's what's never shared, right? So I was wondering for Angela and for Aditi, I guess, who are more, you guys have tried more things. Melisa is just starting, I guess. But Melisa, please, to all of you, is there anything that you try to teach or a strategy that you try to use to reach faculty or students and that it didn't work?
I have to think about, okay, I have sent requests, and I always did in the past, to all science faculty. I have to serve 7 science departments. Okay, I'm the only librarian who takes care of biology, physics, chemistry, environmental studies, mathematics, computer science, all these things. Okay, and then I do the side things like SysTep is not actually in the school, in the College of Arts and Sciences, but it is in the education department. So I do this kind of thing, every semester starts, my email goes to all faculty and requesting them whether they need my help for library instruction. And most of the time, I did not get any responses from the faculty. But I never gave up. So I keep trying until I see some result. And guess what? I would say, let's say 2-3 years ago, all of a sudden, I got an invitation from a math faculty who was very new to our school that time. And I also meet with our new faculty one-on-one. So he said, Aditi, can you come to my class and talk about diversity in mathematics and computer science? And, so after 30 years, or I would say 27 years of failed request, I got some, opportunity to teach in mathematics and computer science department. And I am teaching computer science orientation classes, math class related to diversity. But I have a big success story. I've been teaching a biology lab class for 17 years now, but there we do not talk about any genetic or gene-related things. It's about scientific literature and how to search databases to find information. So that class is very long. 2 and 5, 2 hours, 30 minutes, and I teach about 9 to 10 sections back to back. So certain days I teach 5 hours, and, so I have to do them, in tandem because they have a week dedicated for library instruction. So I just get out from one class and get into the other. So this way I run that marathon or do the marathon race in 4 or 5 days a week to finish all the sections. So I have both the stories, and I have stories on both sides, failure and success. So.
Great. Thank you so much. Thanks for sharing. Okay, we're 1 minute over, so we need to close the webinar. I want to thank you all so much. This has been a great session, and I think everyone here appreciated it. So for those of you who have not followed the link in the chat, there is a link to the survey, but it should also pop up when we close the webinar. Please give us your thoughts. And thanks everyone, Aditi, Melissa, Angela, for your thoughts today. Really great presentations. And we hope to see everyone again next week.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thanks for watching. This video was produced by the network of the National Library of Medicine. Select the circular channel icon to subscribe to our channel, or select a video thumbnail to watch another video from the channel.